you'd be surprised just how many people believe that maturity equals giving up on your dreams, slowly becoming complacent, and then getting subdued by your 6 out of 10 wife. And I can see where this comes from, because up until kind of very recently, I used to believe the exact same thing. So the first reason why people believe this is because of their environment. So if you're, let's say, 13, 14, or 15 years old, and you talk about your dreams, there is a very great chance that some of the adults will say, well, you know, when I was young, I had dreams as well, but now I've grown up, now I've matured, and now I've realized that dreams are a scam. So the first reason why people think that maturity means giving up on your dreams is because of their environment. The second reason is because of their own ignorance. So probably because they only had examples like I've just mentioned with the adults who say, well, when I was young, I had dreams. They think that this is maturity, and so they never bother looking up the definitions and the manifestations of maturity. And so this is where this video comes in. I will present a bunch of the manifestations of immaturity in order to make your life easier. Because when I was 13, 14, or 15 years old, I tried to be both mature, because maturity is a good ideal to have, and I also tried to be ambitious at the same time. And because I used to believe that maturity equals giving up on your dreams, I had this unnecessary tension in my mind and emotions. And so this tension is what I'm trying to get rid of in this video for you, or at least try to help you get rid of that. Because it is entirely unnecessary. Because when you actually find out what maturity is, you'll see that it has nothing to do with giving up on your dreams. And so, this will make your life easier, because it will remove the unnecessary tension, and will essentially allow you to be more ambitious, because you don't waste so much emotional energy and cognitive energy trying to figure out that tension. And so, the first sign of immaturity is that number one, the immature person gets offended if they have to do chores. So when they return from home and they see that the dishwasher is complete, instead of just doing the dishes, they reluctantly do it, get annoyed, and then put it on a list how many good things they've done this month and versus how many the others have done. This is the first sign of immaturity. Number two, the immature person is unable to delay gratification and is unable to focus on anything for longer than 3 minutes. Meaning, they don't have an upward orientation. The only thing that exists is them right now. Only their impulsive hedonism is what's real. Number three, the immature person is annoying. That means they interrupt. They try to put the spotlight on them. They never apologize or apologize too much. So either they're too cool or completely submissive. They know everything better than everyone all the time about everything. And they suffer competitively. You can tell if someone is immature actually by just looking at this criterion, whether they are annoying or not. It makes sense from a kind of evolutionary perspective why that's the case, because when someone is annoying, we don't like them. And this matters because the annoying person is less mature and so less willing or less able to contribute to the tribe. The fourth sign that someone is immature is if they are a piece of shit. That means they treat subordinates as subhuman, or they are an enemy to their friends. I can tell you something that happened a few weeks ago. So I talked to two people who I thought were friends, but then one of them randomly threw the other one's bike in a ditch. Like, the bike didn't get damaged or anything, but it's just, with friends like that, who needs enemies, right? Now, the fifth sign that someone is mature is if they play cringe power games. So, for instance, they try to time the responses. So instead of just responding straight away when they open their phone, they try to pretend that they're busy, and so they delay the responses and so on. Or they are always late because, being on time is kind of submissive. So because they're cool, they're always late. They keep a counter of the favors. This is kind of what we've discussed with the dishwasher example. So just doing the dishes, they tell us, well, I've done the dishes 5 times this month. This person has done it 3 times. And so it's not that not everyone should contribute. It's when you have that counter in your head, that's the problem. Not that everyone should contribute. The counter itself is the problem. The 6th manifestation that someone is immature is if they have no spine, meaning they say yes to everything. When they get invited to a party, they say yes, even though they know that they don't want to go or don't have time. Or they are easily subdued, easily influenced, to change their mind too quickly. Or they just ghost instead of confronting and resolving the problem. Now, the 7th manifestation someone is immature is if everything is a projection. So generally speaking, immature people have very low empathy. And if they do have empathy, it's projected empathy. That means instead of saying, I understand why you suffer, they think to themselves, if I were him, I would suffer as well. Or let me give you another extremely clear example. Instead of saying, I am sorry, they say, I'm sorry you found out. Or I'm sorry it offends you. I'm sorry that my actions have offended you. Versus saying, I am sorry. This is kind of the difference between real and projected. Now, the 8th manifestation of immaturity is that the immature person just uses a lot of excuses. So they will say, I want to live a low cortisol life, so no, I can't do that. Or they'll say, I have daddy issues. Or they'll say, I'm not a math person. I'm not a morning person. So this all ties back to the dishwasher example. Instead of just putting the dishes in the cupboard, they invent all this kind of narrative to justify as to why they can't do something. And now the 9th manifestation of immaturity is if they're insecure. What does insecurity mean? Well, it means that you put excessive judgments in your head. So, am I ugly? Am I lazy? Am I a failure? Instead of just asking people about it or not thinking those things to begin with. This is a sign of immaturity because one of the reasons why old people are so happy is because they stop obsessing over it so much and they just start living. And so, as you can see, immaturity or maturity has nothing to do with giving up on your dreams. It is more so about having an upward orientation and caring about other people. In other words, if you are mature, you see the world that is around you rather than just your impulsive hedonistic self. And so, you can be as ambitious as you want, and it will not conflict with being mature. Sometimes, it will. There's so many cringe goals, like, I want to be a millionaire. This is, for example, a cringe goal, because first, how do you want to get there? Do you have a plan? But outside of that, there is basically no problem between being ambitious and being mature. And so I hope that this video alleviates that tension that you may have inside of yourself. And if this video helped you, subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.